Just pretend it's 8 o'clock on a Monday night.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's 8 o'clock on a Monday night. We're back here on From the Bleachers now. Of course, we'd be remiss if we didn't get a chance to talk a little bit about everything that's been going on. We're going to do basically an abridged version of Since You've Been Gone, because we usually do it after every vacation when we're back in the studio together. And we're talking about all of our fun memories that we had away from campus, and then we get back going. But of course, we're now recording this on Monday, the 23rd, which is a week after we were supposed to start the show last time. And Matt and Connor, I'll give you guys both the chance to talk a little bit about this, but the world is pretty much upside down from the last time we did the show.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like we're living in a movie, dude. I don't know. It's left me speechless because I felt like, I don't know about you, Connor. It was like, it'll be a week. It'll be 2 weeks. It'll just be a month. Okay, shoot. Now sports are gone. Now it's going to be 4 months.
Up until we got that email from Judy, I strongly believed we were going back to campus.
Right.
That they'll just delay it. They'll keep us home for an extra week and we're going back.
We're fine. Yeah.
Firmly believed it. And here we are. And
I was showing everybody the email. I was like, no, see, there's a reevaluation period. Like they're going to reevaluate. We'll be fine.
I've been sitting here just I feel like it hasn't even really hit me yet. Which is an odd feeling.
Did you shed any tears?
Did I shed any tears? No, not yet. Yeah. Which is why I feel like it hasn't hit me.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're a big crier, so I'm kind of surprised to hear that.
I feel like once I get...
Self-proclaimed. I'm not saying that as an accusation. You've said that before.
I feel like I don't... Stopwatch going off. I feel like once I get back to Hamden, it'll be a little different. I feel like seeing the town empty, seeing no one in parking lots and all that stuff is going to be really weird. But no, at the moment, I think it just hasn't fully hit me yet.
I got that.
On to a laughing person class, we might not walk at graduation. That's all very weird to me.
Yeah, I got that email though, and I bawled. I was down for the count. When we weren't allowed back, I was in rough shape, but I don't know. I've gotten better. I think getting seeing other kids, talking with you guys, it helps.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
That's been the biggest thing for me is that, I think we've talked about this a couple times in the show, but Matt and I, along with Nick, we live together. And myself, Matt, and our roommate Josh, who may join us in a bit, we've been down here for the last week, probably just kind of trying to get through these times together. So it's been nice at least to be able to see familiar faces and try to reestablish some kind of normal, because up until that point, and I mean, going through the chronology of everything. So I think at the beginning of spring break was when, once we got into that Sunday, Monday is when there started to be rumblings. Oh, it looks like, Sacred Heart may do something and Yale may do something. And then by the end of the week, it was every school was closed. Every single sporting event had been postponed. We had playoff hockey that was supposed to happen here in Hamden that got canceled. It was 5-6 days. And by the time break was over, everything was different.
Couldn't agree with you more.
It was just such a surreal feeling.
Yeah.
Like Matt said, it was like we were sitting in a movie, and it wasn't even like we knew, it's going to end in an hour and a half. We just don't know when this is going to end, which is even the scarier part of it.
Yeah. Well, aside from all the doom and gloom, we are still going to try to continue this show as much as possible. Obviously there are extenuating circumstances. That's why we didn't do it last week. There was just so much up in the air that we really couldn't even get everything together to do a show. But aside from that, we're going to try to put out a show every single week. We're going to try to join you either on Zoom, or we're going to try to podcast together if everyone's back in Hamden at one time or another. We're going to try to work the phones and get back into the studio at least one more time for our final show, because that's one thing that I'm willing to kind of try to bend the rules a little bit and get an exception to get in there. But one way or another, we're going to try to do something.
I'm currently trying to bend the rules right now with the film department, and it's not really working at the moment, but progress has been made.
Yeah, what's the status of the movie right now? We've discussed this a couple times.
You have been in my thoughts, man. What is that film looking like?
It's looking pretty good, actually. The school was able to give us MacBooks.
Wow.
The desktop, like the Mac desktop.
Sure.
So our editor picked that up on Thursday. It's looking well. He's on his 5th cut right now. So we're relatively close to picture lock. The issue is there's like
picture locks like lingo for we're almost done.
Yes, that's when like audio. That's like when audio takes over, and when color correcting takes over. It's like these are the shots that we're using. No different. We're close to that. I'm currently trying to fight with the school to get us a camera for pickup shots, but the equipment room is closed, so that's a pain in the neck. I guess we technically can curse, but this is a PG show.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we can go a little further, but
dude, pandemic FTB, if we're allowed to curse, we're in trouble.
Yeah. I really don't care. I'm going to go through and edit it after the fact and who cares?
Well, is this video going anywhere?
What?
Is this video going anywhere?
Currently?
I mean, like, are we going to post it on our YouTube page?
Maybe. There will be. We'll figure that out after the fact. It's more fun to be able to do that. We've been discussing doing a podcast and discussing kind of letting things loose and having a few and just discussing things as normal human beings for a while. So there you go. Cheers. Bud Light Lime.
White Claw.
All right.
Yellow Gatorade.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. It is, unfortunately, it's not loaded. I gave it the sniff test before we started and it's not. But anyways, on the show today, we're going to try to move past some of the coronavirus stuff. Luckily, we were pretty much blessed with NFL free agency last week during the middle of everything. Matt's shaking his head. It was pretty darn crazy. There's a lot of headlines that we're going to get to. So we're going to go through some of the grades of NFL free agency. Sporting News graded every single move. We're going to weigh in on what we think about the move and the grade that they were given. So we're going to do a little bit of that. Things are still kind of up in the air. We're going to weigh in a little bit on how we think that league should be handling championships, because I know the rumor going around was that the Boston Bruins would be awarded the Stanley Cup if the season were to be canceled, but we'll talk about what we think about that. Trevor Bauer also organized a sandlot game. It being for the benefit of arena workers and field workers. That was what they raised a lot of money for, but we'll talk about that and some of the players that we would want to have on our sandlot team. But Sophia Alfieri joins the show. She is back from class. She is here with us. Sophia, we got a chance to kind of weigh in right at the beginning of the show, but how has your last week and a half been?
It's been okay. I don't know. It's really annoying. Everything's really annoying. I'm just going crazy because my apartment has turned into my office, but my apartment I associate it with, relaxing. So yeah. I can't distinguish between the two now, and it's driving me bananas. But it is what it is. We just got to be careful.
That's been the tough part about doing classes at home is, we're in this house and there's not a lot of room to get away from people. So, I'm sitting at my desk in my room doing classes, and it's like I am 3 feet away from my bed and could be asleep right now if I wanted to be. But
yeah,
that's been a tough adjustment period. But how was class today?
It was good. We had a really quick meeting. It was with Professor Vonk, who Matt has as well.
Sweetheart.
I love her to death. I actually had a giant business plan due today. So once we get off, I'm going to proofread it and send it in. It is 38 pages, and I am ready to be done with it.
My God.
You were always the studious one.
Out of all of us? No. We're all
probably.
Good. We're all good kids. We're all good kids.
Well.
Dude, yep. Needed that.
We're good.
Cheers.
We're good students. Let me clarify. But yeah, it was nice and quick. So now we know how it's going to go the next couple of weeks.
Good. Yeah. So we're going to finish up with the Trevor Bauer Sandlot game. We'll do a little bit of see, buddy, if we have any that aren't coronavirus related because I think we all kind of have the same one. But anyways, that is what is coming up on From the Bleachers today. We're doing it in podcast version, so let's start the show.
This is From the Bleachers.
Get the duck boats ready.
Your home for all things sports.
With Dan Ball, Connor Byrne, Matt McAuliffe, and Nick Baldwin.
Red Sox fans have longed to hear it.
On 98.1.
It's out of here! Bartolo has done it!
WQAQ.
Welcome to From the Bleachers, ladies and gentlemen. It's Dan Ball, Connor Byrne, and Matt McAuliffe. Sophia Alfieri, our social media manager, with us as always. It is Monday, March 23rd. Thank you so much for making us a part of whatever night you happen to consume this content. But we are ready to go. We're going to be talking some NFL free agency first. I was going to try to share my screen because I was bored during my class today. Full honesty. What?
You can do that, can't you?
Yeah, I know. I was going to try to figure out how to do it because I found a Sporkle quiz that I thought would interest Connor Byrne to begin it. But let's see. It is
you can definitely do it.
I know. I'll give it a shot. Screw it.
Always down for a Sporkle quiz.
Yeah, I know. This one is, can you name the New York Mets players to hit 25 home runs or more in a single season?
Okay.
I'll share.
A lot.
What's that?
It hasn't happened a lot.
It looks like a rough estimate is probably like 40 or 50 times. Let me just share my screen. Well, there's going to be players that have done it multiple times.
Okay.
I will share the screen and I will show you exactly what I mean.
Oh, I get the year too?
Yeah. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to start the clock. I will type.
Okay. How long do I have?
You have 6 minutes.
I don't know if that's going to be enough time. Shit.
Well,
okay.
See that you got to get them in batches. You got to think of the biggest power hitters first. You can knock a bunch out.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, we don't need to go 6 minutes for this, but we'll just see how many you can get and begin.
Pete Alonso.
Correct.
Carlos Beltran.
Ooh, nice.
Good one.
Michael Conforto. Lucas Duda.
I did better at this than I expected.
Is it Todd Zeile?
Zeile?
Zeile, I think.
I don't know. It's not giving it to you.
All right. David Wright.
Good.
I was about to say, where was your guy Wright at?
I feel like Ike Davis is in there.
Good. 32 in 2012.
Yeah.
What's up, Ike?
Yeah.
Carlos
We
Delgado.
like Delgado. Very good.
Nice.
Let's say Gary Carter. Maybe.
Nice.
Who's the 2016?
Where?
I feel like the 2016.
This one right here?
Yeah, 30 dingers. Feel like that.
30 dingers. I know Duda, but Duda already hit one. I already did Duda.
Oh, I think I actually know. I tried this before and I did better than I expected.
Curtis Granderson?
Yes.
Yes, sir. 2016.
I looked at the 2015 roster. Cespedes.
Got it.
Nice. 31, also in 2016.
God. Piazza.
You were at 21 of 56. Piazza, very good.
Oh.
That knocked out a bunch of them.
Yeah.
About halfway there.
Yeah.
God. Reyes never did it.
Yep.
See, the 70s and the 80s are just tough for me. Try Hernandez. I don't think he did, but
no.
God. I'm trying to look for more modern years.
There's one more that I know of. And the rest are kind of
2017. Who was even around in 2017? that like wasn't hurt all the time.
Oh man.
It can't be Murphy. It can't.
No.
What about this? What about this second baseman you've been paying a gajillion dollars for? Has he not done it?
No, this was his first year and he hit like 6.
Robinson Cano, Matt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's 2017? Is that who you're talking about?
No, the one that I know?
Yeah.
No, he's an older guy. He's like up there with David Wright for the best hitter in Mets history. Statistically speaking. This is the last one we'll do, and then I'll pause it. And we can move on. No, but you got 3 in a bunch right here.
God. I don't know.
Well, the one that I was talking of.
Strawberry.
Daryl Strawberry.
Oh, my Lord.
That did a bunch of them. All right, so we're going to pause and apparently get an advertisement. So let's see what Connor was unable to get. Jay Bruce. He honestly kind of forgot that he was a member of the Mets.
Frank Thomas, dude.
You tried to convince me for so long that I was going to love Jay Bruce.
Yeah. I really thought you were. He was really good.
Hojo.
Well, you're above the average. You're above the average score, Connor. You got 64%.
Connor is above the average Mets fan.
Of course he is.
Granted, I don't know what you would have done if I didn't give you Daryl Strawberry, but regardless of that, so those are fun to do. Shout out to my background. But anyways, so now we're going to get into some NFL free agency because it's just Matt and I who really follow this.
I've been following. There's nothing else on. I've been following.
Yeah, that's facts.
Okay. All right. Good. Hey,
on for me to focus on.
Fair enough. Hey, I didn't know. I didn't know how you would. All you told me was that you were playing a lot of the show
right now.
What's that?
Connor's
the Jets line is looking elite right now.
Really? Tell me about it.
I don't know, but that's everything I've been seeing is that they look good right now.
Gotcha. Okay.
Connor's got flashcards. Dak Prescott. Aaron, he's listing names.
Okay, so we're going to go through some of the signings that were listed by Sporting News and give some of the grades. So the first one, so the Cowboys chose, instead of offering a contract to Dak Prescott, they chose to franchise tag him instead. $33 million. It is the exclusive tag. So Dallas gets an extension until July 15th. That is apparently the term on it. So they are buying time to then give him a record-breaking deal in the summer. So they franchise tag him, buying themselves a little bit more time. Sporting News gives this an A. They give the move an A. Matt, Cowboys franchise tagging Dak Prescott and kind of basically committing to him as their franchise quarterback. What do you think about that?
It's a good move. It's a move you had to make because this is your guy. You've been saying he's your guy for a long time now, and he gets paid his money. I don't think he's worth $33 million. I've said that on the show multiple times. I think he is a 22. I think he's more. I mean, if Tom Brady is getting 2 years, $60 million, how is he getting paid more than Tom Brady? I think he's more of a $25 million, $20 million range. But this is a move you had to make if you were the Cowboys. Dak Prescott takes advantage. The grade of an A I like, because they didn't rush into this. They took their time with it. They gave the extension. They want to make sure they get it right. I really, really like this move.
Connor Byrne.
Common man question. If they don't reach it by July 15th, what happens?
They got issues because now you got to – it's almost like you hit the reset button and you got to negotiate more numbers.
But he's still on the team. He doesn't, get thrown into free agency.
Nope, because they tagged him.
That's what I thought. I was just checking.
Yeah.
And I like the move as well, especially buying them more time. I think you need to commit to him. He's done enough to improve himself. And I think looking at numbers comparatively from the last few seasons might help show what his trajectory could be. So, I mean, when you look at 2018 to 2019, he increased his yards by over 1,000. He threw 8 more touchdowns. He threw 3 more picks, but they were relying more on the pass this year than they had in the past. They had Amari Cooper, where he hadn't really had as many weapons. but he set career highs in yards and touchdowns, and now he's only 26, so he's entering his age 27 year. I think he's got potential to kind of move his way up the rankings because, Matt, I think you're right. When you look at him right now, summer of 2020 rather, going into the 2020 season, he's mediocre. He hasn't really proved that he can win in a big spot, but the numbers are showing that he should continue to get better.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's reached his prime yet.
Yeah.
I think he's still growing. I think he's still learning. And I think he needs some support under the headset. I think he needs a better coach to learn under and develop under, and hopefully the man from Green Bay can help that.
I think he definitely will. I think that's showing what he was able to do. Not to say that Mike McCarthy is the reason Aaron Rodgers is what he is, but just having a guy that has been able to kind of grow and develop with a quarterback might not hurt.
Absolutely.
Moving on, and this is one that everybody can weigh in on. The Buccaneers signed Tom Brady 2 years. He leaves New England. The top two people on the screen are smiling. He is finally gone from New England. Tough break for the Patriots. But the grade is an A from Sporting News for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers signing Tom Brady. He's 42 years old, but they have a ton of weapons on offense, and offensively, they're kind of in a win now mode. Matt, what do you think?
I mean, yeah. I mean, maybe an A- because he's 42, but I've been telling you guys on this show, he's going to leave. I told you he was going to leave.
But
I'm
sorry, continue.
It's a pride thing. Brady is done getting disrespected. He's done getting unappreciated. He was so good, and I think Belichick and Kraft kind of took advantage a little bit. They were too greedy with what they had. They didn't cherish him as much as they should have, and he had felt that for too long, and it was time for him to walk. He wants to win alone, and he wants to prove that it's not just Belichick, it's him.
So, Connor, before you weigh in, Matt, what would you have preferred the Patriots do compared to what they did to make Tom Brady feel more appreciated?
At least offer him an extension. Like, at least give a number. They didn't even give a number. They didn't even appease him. It was a matter of, you're thinking about leaving? Okay. Good luck. Like, they didn't even blink to give him an extension, and that underappreciation made him walk out the door.
I'll play devil's advocate. But before I do that, Connor, did you have something you want to say?
You've been touting Brady's decline now for a while, though. How are you saying?
I've been on it since day one.
Exactly. So how are you giving this an A-?
Let us not forget when Matt walked back his take because of peer pressure.
He did.
And that's fair. But I said A- because he's 42. But if you're the Bucks, you just signed the greatest quarterback of all time.
Oh yeah, but are they really a big playoff threat right now?
No.
They're a fringe team at best. So is giving $60 million to a 42-year-old that you've been saying is on the decline for as long as we've been doing the show is in their best interest?
If you're the Bucks, you've been at the bottom. You're now going to sell a bunch of number 12 jerseys. You're going to sell a bunch more tickets than you have been. And this is the glam. Brady brings glam to whatever team he's on to. So this is an A- for me. I think if you're the Bucks, you were on nobody's radar. Everyone was like, Chargers, Titans. They weren't even on the radar. And to scoop him up is impressive. That's an A-.
All right. Dan?
I think my internet connection is unstable. So if I start to cut in,
and I was fine.
Okay. All right. If I start to cut in and out, then just give me a wave. But I think for the Patriots, not offering him 2 years was the smart move. Yes. I think that if you're, I don't think that there's really any team that should have been committing. I will raise a question to you, Matt. Yeah. Do you think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers draft a quarterback in one of the next two drafts?
That's a difficult question, and I think they do.
Connor's also shaking his head yes. Connor, why?
You only have him for 2 years.
Yeah.
At 44, you're going to need someone else. have someone learn from him. Sign him, get someone in this draft and have him learn. So in 2 years, when he walks and is done, it's over.
Bingo. Connor's got it. I mean, yeah, after these 2 years, he shouldn't play another snap. You're 44. You're gonna hurt yourself in a permanent way if you keep plugging along.
So realistically speaking, what are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this season?
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are excuse me. You are an 8-8 or a 9-7. That's what you are.
So you're sniffing. You may sniff a wild card.
Sniffing.
Sniffing. I feel like that's such a huge blow to his ego and his persona, though. Because then it is you didn't win without Belichick.
Right. But that's the gamble he wants to take. He was sick of the 1-year deals. Like, I'm surprised the Pats didn't even throw a 1-year deal out there, even though you knew he was going to say no. But, like, you got to do something. And they didn't do anything.
Would you be willing to overpay for 1 year? So instead, back up the money truck, give him 35 to 40 for 1 year.
If you're the Pats?
Yeah.
You could, but he wasn't going to take it. He was sick of the 1-year deals. He was sick of he wanted them to commit. He wanted them to give the 2 years and let me retire a Patriot, and they didn't.
It's interesting, and I think
that looks bad. It looks bad. For the
Pats, the value. I don't.
There's
the Patriots machine.
They were still supposed to win the division.
The Patriots machine is going to keep on trucking, and I really still don't believe that Jarrett Stidham is going to go into the season as their starting quarterback unless they are purposely trying to get Trevor Lawrence.
Got it.
I think that the Patriots machine is going to keep on going, and I think that this season and the season after that are going to prove the true value of Bill Belichick. I am not trying to take anything away from Tom Brady. He's a fantastic quarterback, but he has benefited from playing in Bill Belichick's system for 20 years now. And I think that the Bill Belichick system is going to keep the Patriots relevant until he retires, which now I don't think is going to be that soon, because I think Bill is going to want to say, oh, well, Tom's going to try to win on his own. Why can't I win on my own? And I think that there is a greater likelihood of the Patriots succeeding than the Bucs succeeding.
And Bill also has more time.
Yeah.
Brady has to pretty much retire in 2 years. Bill can last this out for what? How old is he? Probably another 10.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, we've seen head coaches go pretty deep into their lives. I will say this though. The Bucs defense, the defense is going to be an issue, but their offense between Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and OJ Howard, Tom Brady wanted weapons, and I'll tell you, he probably went to the best place to get weapons. He is completely different from the situation that he left in New England, just as a team, offensive line and defense.
I tell you what,
make up for it.
Yeah, I tell you what, if the defense does step up in a surprising way, why not 10-6? Why not? Because that offense looks explosive. And if Brady can come in and kind of play this fun kind of street ball football, who knows, man? It could be 10 wins.
Matt, where are they projected to win? Are they projected to win their division now?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I will probably text you after the show.
Sophia, anything to throw in on either the Patriots or Tom Brady, or what that's going to look like for the Patriots not having him? Maybe even from a marketing standpoint on this one.
First of all, I knew it was coming.
Yep.
But when I woke up and I saw the news, I wasn't ready for it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Because I knew about all the talking that was going on.
Maybe because it was St. Patrick's Day and he basically told the people of Boston to.
Yeah. And it was interesting to see because in a matter of minutes, the top trend went from coronavirus to being all about Tom Brady. So it was super interesting to see that. I love looking at hashtags and things that are trending on Twitter when something big like that happens. And he was able to break through all of the coronavirus stuff and, get people talking. And I think it was kind of a good thing because it gave people something to talk about in such a time where we don't have a lot of sports to pay attention to. So
I have a great marketing question. He titles the tweet "Forever a Patriot," and then doesn't stay a Patriot.
Yeah. I don't.
Why?
Yeah, I don't. I didn't really think too much into that because I feel like that is a thing that, when a player is leaving a team, that's just a typical phrase. Forever a blank. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like your heart's there no matter what's on
and
the front of your jersey. Yeah.
His heart is so with that organization. And I think people know it, but I feel like it was almost self-reassuring too, for him to be like, I'm forever a Patriot. And then to just reassure the fans, like, forever a Patriot. Thank you for
you got to imagine it's pretty tough on him right now to be leaving somewhere where you were for, almost 2 decades.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, according to CBS Sports, they are 6th highest odds to win the Super Bowl. At
the Pats.
No, the Bucks. At 16-1.
Okay.
The Pats
wow.
Pats are 10th at 20-1.
Okay. I mean, I guess with the current construction of the Patriots roster, I wouldn't be putting my money on either of those teams, but that is just me, hypothetically speaking. Before we move on to the next signing, I think we should talk a little bit about Jameis Winston, the top and pretty much only quarterback that is still on the market. Now, the issue that famous Jameis is facing right now is that there really aren't any jobs left. And I know ESPN was talking about that, how there really isn't anything left and how he should probably be looking for a deal that sets him up more for the 2021 season. Are there any teams, Matt, off the top of your head that you can think of that you think Jameis would be a decent fit on? Because while I give you a moment to think, I'll talk about something that they talked about on ESPN. They mentioned the Green Bay Packers with Aaron Rodgers being 37 years old. I don't love that. And the reason I don't love that is because I think if you were Jameis, you would want to have a situation where you would have a chance to play, where you may even have a chance this season. Well, not even that, just have a chance, maybe an unstable starting situation where you might have a chance to jump in and play at some point this season if the incumbent starter doesn't perform. And it makes me think of a situation like possibly the LA Chargers or maybe even the Vegas Raiders, 2 teams that have starting quarterbacks, and especially the case with the Chargers. You have a starter week 1, but this is a starter that hasn't really proven himself, and there might be a chance for him to jump in.
Those 2 teams that you just named are definitely teams to look out for because if he went to the Chargers and even Vegas, he could battle Derek Carr and probably win the job.
Yeah.
He is just as good, if not better. I'm going to say it. He is just as good, if not better, than Derek Carr.
I'll tell you what he's got. He's got a higher ceiling.
Exactly. People forget he threw for 5,000 yards.
Yeah.
I know he threw 30 picks, but that is so many yards.
That is just such a garbage number. Oh, my God.
He got the eye surgery, though.
Yeah.
He's got 20/20 vision now. Watch out.
What's wrong with him trading places with Brady, going to the Patriots? They don't have a starter.
Honestly, I would take him.
Really? Why?
Him under Bill Belichick? Whatever, man. It would
give me yards in 20/20 vision.
Do you think he could be taught to be disciplined enough to be a quarterback in the Patriots system?
Yep.
It's better than what you have now, too.
Bill could take me or Connor Byrne and turn us into something. He would turn us into something. We would try our best.
Now I'll push back. I'll push back against you on one thing.
Okay.
You are looking at 5,000 yards from Jameis Winston with the 3 aforementioned weapons that he had in Tampa Bay. You are coming into a situation in New England where you have not only neither of those 3 guys, nobody is talented as either of those guys, and more or less just a black hole of receivers right now. So
Right. The only reason why I said bring in Jameis is because it's either Stidham or Hoyer right now, and that's scary.
Yeah. I also tend to agree. And the longer that you can let this free agency window go, it'll further diminish the value, where you could probably get him for a good number and possibly get other weapons for decent numbers.
Because at least with Jameis, he has in-game reps. Stidham and Hoyer, yes, Hoyer has in-game reps, but it's been a while. Like Stidham and Hoyer make me shaky.
Yeah. And not to mention, I mean, it's in his past what happened with Jameis Winston, but the Patriots over the last couple of years have shown an interest in bringing in the broken toys that have a lot of talent and trying to kind of get them on the straight and narrow and have them just in a system where they can succeed. Not to say that Jameis was not succeeding, but I'm just saying with a reputation like that, if there was a system that you would want him to go in from a personal standpoint, it would probably be the Patriot way.
Yeah, and I'm agreeing with you.
I still like the teams out west, but I mean, right now, that's pretty much the only situation where you could say either there isn't an incumbent starter or there isn't going to be a draft pick coming in, because shout out Cincinnati. But moving on, excuse me, Colts signed Phillip Rivers, 1 year, $25 million. Sporting News gives this a B. I like this move a lot. I think they're giving him a B because of the money that the Colts committed to Jacoby Brissett. But Matt, you're smiling and shaking your head. Why?
I'm agreeing with the B. It is a good pickup, but it's a lot of money. I don't think Phillip Rivers is 29. I think Phillip Rivers is 15. He's 38. Yes, he reunites with the offensive coordinator, but I don't think 25 mil is the number. I mean, is Phillip Rivers a Hall of Famer? Yes. Is he 25 mil right now? No.
Is Phillip Rivers a Hall of Famer?
I'd put him in. Not like first ballot, like maybe second or third.
Okay.
I just think this is what you needed, because it seemed like at the end of the season, Brissett wasn't it. To see Phillip Rivers and to attack him in the free agent market kind of sparks. I think it will spark a team, because he is a natural leader. Phillip Rivers can really run a huddle, and he can run a huddle better than Brissett. So this could maybe spark a team.
I didn't hate the move.
I don't hate it.
For as good as he was in doses, I still don't think that Jacoby Brissett is going to be a long-term starter on a team that wins anything. So I think if the Colts want to try to win sooner, I think this was the right move. But I don't know. It doesn't. Neither guy gets the blood pumping for me. I'll kind of leave it at that. I mean, I think Rivers is an improvement. I think that the fact that he's a veteran is going to help. But again, I mean, he's not going into a situation where it's like, man, they really just need somebody throwing them the ball and they're going to be a Super Bowl contender. I think that this team went from average to slightly above average with his addition.
I agree.
Okay. Continuing on, Vikings extend quarterback Kirk Cousins for 2 years through 2022. Vikings continuing on this path with Kirk Cousins, Matt.
I wouldn't give it an A. I mean,
that is what Sporting News did give it.
I think it's a B plus.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, Cousins is coming off a really good year. And he is an above average quarterback. But the 2-year extension felt like it came out of nowhere. I wasn't really expecting this. But hey, if you're the Vikings, you lock up your guy. You're committed to this guy. You're buying into this guy. That gives him confidence. That gives the team around him confidence. Kudos to the Vikings. I think it's a B plus.
Do we know what the money is for that?
No, we're checking at the moment. Oh, his middle name is Daniel. That's exciting.
I think it's interesting in the article. It says it's preventing the 49ers from potentially snagging him next offseason. So is there any value to that?
I don't understand that. I don't know why. I don't know why people can, and I think it's funny that it says that. It's talking about Kyle Shanahan jumping in. I don't know if there's there's a relationship there from the Redskins, I think. Regardless of that, I don't know why people continue to try to find ways for the Niners to not keep Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, there was a clause in his contract where they could get rid of him and not lose any money. I don't know why.
That's the thing. Like, regardless of the clause, y'all just made a Super Bowl and were an atrocious fourth quarter away from winning a Super Bowl. I mean, obviously he wasn't slinging the ball around during the playoffs. I mean, they were very, very run heavy and relying on their defense as they did most of the year. But I mean, he's a good quarterback, and he just one way or another led you to a Super Bowl. I don't get it, because there was another thing that we talked about. Maybe I'm not sure if it was on the show or not, where they were talking about the Patriots possibly reacquiring him and trying to like flip Brady and him or something along those, like re-signing Brady and then trading. I don't know, man. But either way, my one thing with the Vikings, I think committing to Cousins, re-upping on your commitment to Cousins is smart, but you have a lot of money that is going to need to be tied up between Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs, and Dalvin Cook. And it's looking more and more like you're not going to be able to keep those guys. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Vikings look like by the end of this Kirk Cousins contract. But I think their window is still going to be long enough where they should be able to do something at the end of this. But moving on, continuing with quarterbacks and moving a little bit quicker, the Saints re-signed Drew Brees for 2 years and $50 million. I really don't think that there was any question about that. The Panthers signed Teddy Bridgewater, 3 years, $63 million.
Could you repeat that number for the people, Dan?
3 years, $63 million. That's an average annual value of $21 million for a guy that was a backup last year and got
Bridgewater.
Right. For a guy that was a backup last year who got not ran out of Minnesota, but got replaced a couple of different times. He got injured and stuff like that. So the Panthers are saying Cam Newton is no longer our guy. Kyle Allen, I think that's either Kyle or Ryan. He's not our guy. That was just a flash in the pan while Cam Newton was hurt. We are going in a completely different direction now that we have a new head coach. We have a new system. We're getting a new quarterback. But $21 million over 3 years just seems like a little bit of an overpay for a guy that really hasn't done anything consistently in the NFL.
It's completely an overpay. I mean, yes, he'll work well with this new coach. And yes, I guess he is a good mobile quarterback, but he's a poor man's Cam Newton. Like, why are we paying him like he's a real Cam Newton? That's not okay. I'm shocked that they really forced Cam out. That was unfortunate. There's definitely more behind that story that we don't know.
Yeah.
But the Sporting News giving it a B. This to me is a C. This was a head scratcher when I read the numbers, and I get that he is a mobile quarterback and fits the system, but for $63 million was a lot for me.
Matt, would you rather have Cam, or would you rather have Brady, or would you rather have Jameis? If you had to
pick.
For this
is a good hypothetical
right now.
For this system, for the way this team plays and forcing Cam out.
Well, no, I'm talking about the Patriots. If you were the Patriots and because there's 3 people on the market, you're picking one of the 3.
So my 3 it was Tom Brady,
Cam,
and then
Jameis.
Oh, I mean, Cam, right? Got to be Cam if I got to pick somebody.
Okay.
Nobody like Cam is a really athletic quarterback, and I think Bill Belichick could grab those strings and be the puppeteer in a really successful way.
Then could you see them doing that instead? Do you think he's a fit there?
I mean, I'm here for it. I think he's really athletic. I know he's had his injury trouble, but I'm here for it.
nice job there, Connor Byrne, jumping in. So he knows that
he didn't hesitate. That dude didn't hesitate.
He knows. See, Connor's been trained well because we lived together for 3 years before this year, and we've been through a lot. So he knows if I have my inevitable stroke that he is just supposed to take over. But anyways, so yeah, $29.5 million per season for 4 years for Ryan Tannehill with the Titans. This is the same Ryan Tannehill that threw for under 100 yards on playoff game.
Yeah, I don't get it. I guess the Titans are buying into this guy, but for 4 years and 118 mil is tough. I just don't get. I don't get it. Yes, you're buying in to Ryan Tannehill, but you're also. I feel like you're going to get yourself in a jam in 3 years. Like, I feel like 3 years down the road, this is going to look ugly because he's going to be a below average quarterback.
I mean, I would even be willing to say that you could be in a jam this season.
Yeah, I mean,
we saw half a year of him with the Titans.
And you're a run heavy offense. Why are you giving a quarterback that much? Give that to Derrick Henry.
Yeah, and I know that, running backs wear down quicker than quarterbacks, whatever. Your window to win is open because of Derrick Henry. You were not a playoff team. You did not go as far as you did last year without Derrick Henry.
That's a fact.
I think you're absolutely right.
That's ludicrous move.
They give it a B. They give it a B. I'd give it a C minus D plus. Like
that's a C minus all day.
$62 million guaranteed. I don't know. But anyways, Bears trade a 4th round pick to the Jaguars for Nick Foles. So you choose, instead of addressing the lack of weapons you have around Mitch Trubisky, to just get another quarterback to play in the same position as Mitch Trubisky with still no weapons on your team, regardless.
You have completely stripped Mitch Trubisky of any confidence and any skill that he has had. You basically said, hey, man, see you later. Like, we don't trust you anymore. We thought you were our guy. See ya. This is like your wife divorcing you, man. This is like we bought into you, but you ain't it. We're going to bring in this Nick Foles guy who was out all year last year. Like, it is a spit in the face to Mitch, and I feel bad for him.
But how much longer can you just sit in, mediocrity?
You're still going to sit in mediocrity with Nick Foles, man. I don't even know if he's the answer.
Something.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think you needed to try to acquire. I mean, there have been guys moving around left and right. You could have signed Todd Gurley for not a lot of money. You could have tried to trade for Stephon Diggs and gave him something to throw to. There have been guys moving around to different places where you could have used whatever money you're going to end up paying Foles and just give him something, man. Give him something to work with.
I agree. I think this is and to do a 4th round pick is like, come on.
Yeah.
You're not even trying. This was lazy.
All right. Let's run through some more position player moves fairly quickly. I got something wrong when I said that Stephon Diggs was still a member of the Vikings. He is not. He goes to the Bills with a 7th round pick. The Bills give up a 1st rounder, a 4th rounder, a 5th rounder, and a 6th rounder in exchange for Stephon Diggs. Diggs is very good. Don't get me wrong, but that is a capital H haul for Stephon.
You think so?
I would say
5th.
1st, 4th, 5th, 6th. 4 draft picks.
Diggs is good.
Diggs is good.
I think him with Josh Allen is scaring me. They might be a favorite to win the AFC East with that combo. Yeah. I mean, I thought it was okay. I thought it was all right. I thought it was an okay trade. I thought it was fair. Maybe I'm delusional. I thought it was okay.
I think that he's a very good wide receiver. And I think if you were getting him at the end of 2019, I would be no. If you're getting him at the end of 2018, I would be a lot more in on this because he was one of the best. This year, he kind of fell into a little bit more of a boom or bust role, where he was getting like 125 yards and a touchdown or like 35 yards. So I love the fit on the Bills. I love being able, because they had Cole Beasley, they have John Brown, so they have some good complementary guys, but they didn't have that number one receiver that they needed. The Vikings already have their number one receiver locked up with Adam Thielen. That's fine now that they can reallocate that money to Dalvin Cook. It just seems like a lot of draft picks for a guy that may not. I don't know if he's going to be reliable with a quarterback that's still kind of young and Josh Allen. But I'll tell you what, if Allen can continue to progress and continue to get more consistent, he could end up being a game changer. I'm just saying right now, I guess it's an investment for the future. So you don't really know how it's going to be right now.
Yeah. And I think give a lot of credit to the Bills. They showed Stephon how much they want him and care about him. And they gave up all of these. So I think if you're Diggs, it's like, hell yeah. If they're buying into me, I'm going to work my butt off for you.
Yeah. Falcons signed Todd Gurley after he was cut by the Rams. 1 year, $5 million. Sporting News gives this a C. I think this is a low risk, high reward signing. I don't mind it. The Falcons are kind of in a little bit of a limbo right now. So I don't mind kind of taking a flyer on him.
Yeah. $5 million. Come on now. Football teams wipe their booties with $5 million. Go ahead. Take the risk. I'm in.
Melvin Gordon signs with the Broncos. 2 years and $16 million. So I guess.
All right. Can I be honest before you say something?
Yes, of course.
I think he could be a legit force in Denver. I feel good.
Yeah. I like kind of reducing Phillip Lindsay a little bit. Like he's good, but I think having a two-headed monster there and maybe even kind of allowing Gordon to get back into give him a full season. Cause you could tell he was feeling the effects of not playing the beginning of the year. It took him a little while to get going, but I don't hate that fit at all. Amari Cooper re-signs with the Cowboys, 5 years, $100 million. 5 years is a lot of term for a wide receiver that's already in his prime. But again, the same way you're investing in Dak, you got to invest in Amari Cooper because you got to have somebody for him to throw to. So it seems like a little too much money over a little too much time. But I guess if you're trying to.
Jerry Jones gonna Jerry Jones. I mean, he's gonna just throw money.
Yep. You almost quoted it exactly. As usual, Jerry Jones overpaid a little still, but nonetheless, with Cooper extended, it's easier to agree to terms with Prescott long-term at some point over the summer. Yep. Emmanuel Sanders signs. And then the last two that I want to touch on before we move on, the Texans trade for David Johnson, a second and a fourth round pick. In exchange, they give up DeAndre Hopkins and a fourth round pick. So again, David Johnson, a second and a fourth for DeAndre Hopkins and a fourth. The Texans are given a D on this trade from Sporting News for what they acquired, David Johnson, the second and the fourth. The Cardinals are given an A for getting DeAndre Hopkins and a fourth round pick. Matt, your thoughts on those grades?
I agree. If you're picking up DeAndre Hopkins, a top 5 wide receiver, you're going to improve your team no matter what. And especially with the young, explosive Kyler Murray, who's going to extend plays for you. If you extend plays and allow DeAndre Hopkins to run like recess routes, that's going to be scary. He's going to get major yards and he could be a downfield threat. So good for the Cardinals. The Texans, dude. Bill O'Brien has rocks in his head. I am convinced.
Yeah.
He is, I don't know if you like, I think we're all SpongeBob fans here. Bill O'Brien is when that rock falls on Patrick's head and it like becomes like an accordion looking thing. That's what Bill O'Brien was with that trade. That was, dude, that is your guy. Hopkins is your guy. Get more, get everything for that guy.
So that'll pretty much finish up our NFL conversation. Shout out Bill O'Brien. Okay, Matt, before we transition to baseball, you're a betting guy. If you were hypothetically putting money down, who was under center for the Patriots?
Tell anybody.
What's that?
Don't tell anybody. God, I miss it.
Yeah. Who was under center for the Patriots in week 1? If there is a week 1.
There'll be a week 1. Come on now. If I had to put my money on somebody, right now it would be Brian Hoyer. The fact that they brought him back kind of scares me and gave him like a deal scares me because that makes it feel like they're like, all right, Brian, we're going to give you another chance.
Mm-hmm.
That scares me. So as of right now, if I had to put my money on anyone, it's unfortunately Hoyer.
Yeah.
You think there's potential with Hoyer because obviously Bill would have given all of his attention to Brady over the last 20 years that like, hey, maybe now I'll focus on you and maybe you'll be serviceable now.
With Bill Belichick, anything's possible. I mean, I guess, but I'm not putting my faith in Brian Hoyer to lead me to an AFC East championship.
Who's going to challenge? The Bills, maybe?
Bills will absolutely challenge. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but the defense is still intact for the Patriots.
Yes, and this whole boogeyman thing that we saw last season lasted, 6 weeks? After that, it felt like they dropped off. It just wasn't the same. I mean, we'll see. I think the Bills might break this Patriots AFC East streak. We'll see.
Do you think Antonio Brown goes to the Bucs now?
I have no idea. If he does, now those odds go from 16-1 to 4-1 if he's on that team.
Just because I wasn't there a rumor that like he wanted to reunite with Brady and Brady wanted to reunite with him.
Oh yeah, I believe it. I mean, the guy stayed at his house to taking selfies. Brady likes him, and Brady's a guy who gives people second chances. So if you have Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, Godwin, enough said.
Okay. For my money, I think it's going to be somebody via trade. So I would go with either probably Cam Newton or Andy Dalton. Those would be my two picks.
I would love a Cam Newton. I wouldn't hate an Andy Dalton either.
So moving on, Trevor Bauer set up a sandlot themed pickup game in Arizona for major and minor leaguers. I believe this was last week at this point, who want to keep competing despite the layoff. The idea started with a tweet from right-hander David Carpenter, a 34-year-old in camp with the Reds, sent to Bauer about a pickup game. Bauer was in right away in less than 12 hours after Carpenter first suggested it. The Stanlock game was on the books with a catch. All players participating will wear microphones. Bauer has long been a proponent, with his voice becoming quite critical at times. Commissioner Rob Manfred, that is, of course, of getting mic'd up. So with that being said, they were able to raise $22,000 less than 24 hours after the video of the Sandlot game went live. First of all, Connor, I'll give the floor to you. Just your thoughts about this idea from Trevor Bauer and how it was kind of executed.
I mean, I love it. I know there were whispers of something happening on the East Coast as well. But then everything really started to hit the fan. So
yeah.
Obviously less of an option now. I love it. I didn't get to watch a lot of it. I watched a little bit because there's only so much you can watch of backyard baseball. But it was entertaining. You got to see some personality, and that's really what ESPN was doing during spring training when all these players were mic'd up every day. You were giving these people personality as opposed to just being out there on the field. Maybe you hear a quote or two to a reporter, but that's not the same thing as actually getting people's personality on field. And I think it was a fantastic idea. I don't know if it could really work now because of the country kind of locking down, but it was something to keep baseball in people's minds and raise some money for a good cause.
What do you believe Major League Baseball should do with regards to the miking up players?
I think it would be a good idea to mic them up, but not have them being spoken to during.
Okay.
No.
But you can't have Matt Vasgersian in Pete Alonso's ear, him fielding a question and then miss a ball by 40 feet. That's got to look awful. Have a mic.
Yes, but this is what.
Have a mic in the ground or on their chest, and you can hear the conversation between the players.
This would make me watch baseball. This would make me watch every Sunday night. If I could hear Xander Bogaerts, the chatter between him and his second baseman, that would be sick.
Yeah, you guys are on the same page.
That's what I'm saying. Do that. But ESPN this summer, or this spring training, I should say.
Okay.
They were talking.
Feels like about a summer ago.
They were talking to the announcers. You can't have that.
I still would be
people talking.
I'd still be down.
Sander should be talking to whoever's manning second base right now.
I would still be down.
Awesome.
I'd still be down for. I would even still be down for a little bit of a on-field interview too. I mean, maybe let's find a middle, Connor. Let's find a middle ground here. Do it when they're in the dugout, when someone else is hitting.
Oh, for sure. I definitely think that should happen.
All
right. JD Davis of the Mets was getting interviewed by the people up in the booth. I think it was Vasgersian. And like you could also hear McNeil talking to Smith or Alonso, and that was good. That was cool to kind of hear how they're interacting. Davis is kind of talking about it. It's also going to be harder to execute in actual games now because of everything that's going on with the Astros. Last thing you need is curveball. Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting. I definitely think there's room for it. I know Pete Alonso gave the league special permission to stick a mic in the dirt over by first base. So that's going to be a thing that's coming. So you'll hear conversations through Pete Alonso, like when someone gets to first base talking with them. But
interesting.
He did give special permission about that.
Cool.
But I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah.
I think it's an excellent idea. You got to give the players personality or it's just going to die. The league will die. Not in the next 10 years, not in the next 20 years, but it will die. And this is a way to kind of give it the jaws of life.
Liven it up.
Are there any players that come to mind for you guys that you would like to have on your Sandlot team?
Pedro Martinez.
Okay. Lay it out for me. Why?
He'd make a ball dance. He would make a wiffle ball dance, dude. No one would even touch it.
Johan Santana. Guy had an electric changeup. Imagine that drops another like 10 inches with a curve, with a wiffle ball. Oh my God.
I did this exercise for one of my grad classes too. We were talking about this. One of my picks on offense was Adam Dunn because he hits absolute monster shots. Yeah. And if you take a little bit of speed out where he's not striking out 2,500 times like he did in his career, I think he would be an absolute game changer.
Freddie Freedman for me on offense. I like that guy.
You see him smack a homer off his son the other day?
It was hilarious.
Offense. Give me Joey Gallo.
Oh, yeah.
Guy
pretty much the same concept.
With regular balls, imagine what he could do with like a wiffle ball.
You also need like a small, quick guy who's gonna run out anything that is in play.
Yeah, of course.
One of mine was Brock Holt, not only because he's a great personality guy, but you can put him anywhere you need in the field and he is gonna feel like a pro. Mm-hmm. So I think that he's keeping his son on the bench for morale. Another morale guy, I think Kevin Millar would be absolutely freaking electric.
He would be hilarious.
Guy. Yeah,
big morale guy.
He came back and played. It was like in 27 or Connor, you could probably fact check my date. But he came back a couple years ago with the independent ball team that he started his career with. And hit a 2-run home run in his only at bat. It's the Saint.
Yeah,
it's
that was probably like 3 years ago now.
St. Paul Saints, I think, or something Saints. Yeah, but yeah. So I think that he'd get everybody up, like he'd get everybody ready, and then he'd just hit a dinger, and then he'd just be like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna go chill at first base and drink a couple." But
man, you were right on. Team name and June 24th, 2017.
Wow. Okay, so I did those were 3 that I prepared for before, and when I did a segment for my grad class, so it was stored in here from about a week ago. But still, you know what? I'm going to take credit. You know, remembering things after the week that we all had is a feat in and of itself. Yes. Sophia, I don't know where you fall on the baseball fandom chart.
I don't really watch baseball, but I've wanted to get into it for years, but I just don't have the time or the patience.
Sophia, Connor.
Going to a live baseball game like in the park, nothing better. There's nothing better for a guy like myself who just likes to shoot the word. Like I
thought we were gonna finally get it.
I love going to games.
Noted on-air cursor, Matt McAuliffe.
I was supposed to go to a game on Sunday. Still haven't heard from the Mets about what they're doing with tickets.
Oh man, really?
Yeah.
Really? Not yet?
No,
They didn't get on
the entire league hasn't called it yet because they just don't know what's happening.
Yeah,
Connor, I have a friend who is recently like a new Mets season ticket holder, and they delivered the tickets to their house, and they're absolutely like just paper because they don't know what to do with them.
They literally haven't come out with a plan. The entire league hasn't come out with a plan yet. So another guy, R.A. Dickey. Knuckleball.
R.A. Dickey, that thing would dance.
It would be impossible to hit.
You had to, when you were playing either 2K or the show or something, if you weren't pitching with Tim Wakefield or R.A. Dickey, oh my God, it was impossible to hit against.
Yep.
And then you had Daisuke Matsuzaka when you were pitching with him, when it would take 12 years for him to get all the way up here, and then
another guy,
and then he would throw.
Another guy, Andrew Benintendi, classic. I think he'd fit in well.
Like
he just fits. He fits a sandlot. Yeah, he fits a sandlot vibe.
Yeah, wearing a tank top and like his bandana that he wears during batting practice. Yeah. You could get the like the Southern country boys would be good fits there. Okay. Before we wrap up, so there are a couple leagues right now that really are still trying to figure things out from an end of the year perspective. So we've seen everything from the NCAA. But the NHL and the NBA are still figuring out how exactly they want to go about this. And of course, all of this information is going to be dated in a couple weeks when either the virus, we like beat the bell curve, or it's still going up or whatever. But the report that came out was saying that the Boston Bruins would be awarded the Stanley Cup per the NHL's rules if the season was canceled from this point forward. But at least from my perspective, I feel like the players wouldn't really want to win it that way. So what do you guys think about championships in leagues and how the rest of these seasons should be handled?
I feel like you almost have to do like another trophy. It can't be, you don't engrave the names on the Stanley Cup. You don't get rings. There's no parade down the center of Boston. You get something. It's just not like the whole big hubbubaloo. You have to do something.
This is hard.
But it can't. Can you really put those names on something like the Stanley Cup?
No, because it has so much tradition. Like, I think you bring the four commissioners you bring the four major sport commissioners into a room and go, we good? We're not going to award anything, right? Like, we'll all just pretend like we're going to skip this year. We good? Like, I don't think you can, because here's what stinks. Say the NBA gives a championship to somebody. Now the NHL is like, all right, well, screw you guys. Now we got to award one. So now we got to do this. I think it just causes too much drama. You got to agree to just let this year go. And I also think it's kind of cool if you let this year go, because being alive for like a virus year that's like forever in history is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I saw the year where there was no champion.
There was no ship.
Yeah.
The concerning part to me with that kind of like let's just forget this year or whatever, especially from a baseball standpoint, is Alonso is now another year older than Conforto is another year older, and these guys are in their prime.
Yeah.
That's another year off their prime now, which is the concerning part to me about the whole thing. Obviously not just championship. So I feel like you have to have something.
But is it off their prime? Because they're not playing 162 games. They're still fresh.
I know, but Conforto's still going to be 29 next year, which is still relatively young, but it's another year closer to 30. He's going to be 25. 27. So it's just something to think about.
Yeah,
so
then you got a guy like Ovechkin who is chasing Gretzky's record, and now he's missing 20 games at the end of the season, impossible postseason games. So what if he ends like 10 goals short?
Games count for that?
Say it again.
Do postseason games count for that?
I don't think so now that I think about it.
Okay. Just because I know they don't for baseball, so I didn't.
Yeah, actually, I don't think they do now that I think about that. But still, like, you're missing 20 games at the end of the regular season. So there are going to be casualties of this regardless.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for the NHL, they do have the President's Trophy, which is awarded to the best regular season team. So at least for them, my plan would be to award that and then just forego the Stanley Cup. Now they keep talking about,
I like that.
They keep talking about different playoff tournaments, and I keep hearing it like bandied about in the NHL where they want to do a 24 team like round robin style tournament where the top three teams from each division get buys, and everybody who was on the cusp of possibly making the playoffs gets a chance to be in this tournament. So it brings in teams like the Rangers who are on the bubble in the playoffs, but may not necessarily get, or may have not necessarily got in if the season had gone the full 82 games.
Playoff hockey is just so long, though. It's fun. It's entertaining. It's action-packed, and that's great, but it takes like 3 months. Are you really good? And now imagine with 24 teams, how long it's going to take.
Well, that's the thing. And I also heard an option that was thrown out, which is basically move the playoffs to September, October, when the season would start, play them through the rest of 2020, award a Stanley Cup for this season, take a month or two off, and then play basically a lockout shortened season in 2021 and award the Stanley Cup again and get yourself back on track. That was probably the most realistic option that I've heard so far.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
It's an inexact science, and I haven't heard one that I love yet, but that's probably the best one that I've personally heard.
When we're done with coronavirus talk about like how it's affecting championships, I want to pitch my ideas that I pitched to you and Matt.
Oh, yes. Okay. Do you want to do that now?
No, I would like to continue about championships.
Oh, I don't really have much more to add on it.
Yeah, it's tough. This is
how do you even go about things like MVPs or whatnot? And I guess it's more for baseball because NBA got the majority of their season. NHL got the majority of their season. Baseball, if it doesn't start till July, and I think all the leagues are kind of play chicken with each other because the NFL can't, or I'm sorry, MLB can't say we're starting on July 1st, and then the NHL is like, well, we're starting June 15th, because then they look like the bad league. Oh, why is it okay for them to go back, but it's not good for them to go back? Is the NHL potentially putting people at risk? So they're all kind of standing pat. How does that affect things like MLB MVP, or so Trout going for his fourth, or DeGrom going for his third in a row, or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I still think you'll award them. It's a matter of,
but then is it a huge,
you kind of treat it like a lockout shortened season, essentially. Like your stats, I mean, obviously the stats comparatively are still, everybody's playing the same amount of games, so you're still an MVP comparatively speaking. I don't know. That's tough because if you award an MVP but not a World Series, or like you award an NHL MVP but not a Stanley Cup, does it delegitimize the MVP? There's so many X factors, and the issue is I think no matter what, there is going to be something that happens, a decision that's made that people just aren't going to like, and they're just going to kind of have to accept it.
I guess it's none of us have ever lived through this. There's no game plan for it. It's just so hard to figure out what to do.
Right. So Connor, I'm going to have you hang on to your rule proposals because we still have a lot of semester to fill on this program. So I'm going to save those.
It'll be good with Nick here too.
Yes, it will. So we're going to save those. We are going to do See a Buddy quickly. This is the segment that we do on the show each week. It is someone or something that we have not been a fan of. Hopefully there is something that's, well, not hopefully, but like if we're doing this, maybe there might be something that's not just coronavirus that people aren't enjoying from their last week. But Connor Burns' hand is high in the air, so he's going to start.
It goes right to Matt McAuliffe. It goes immediately to Matt McAuliffe.
Wow,
I'm here for this.
How do you call us out on a tweet that goes, like, for comparatively speaking, for like college, like mega viral? Like, how are me and Liz Flynn and I don't know who else did you tag? Nick. How are we supposed to follow that up?
Honestly, it's okay if you don't want to. It was a trend to tag, like people were tagging everybody. Like people.
Josh started. I think Josh started
Yeah,
the hashtag.
Silverman started it, so he was tagging people. So I was like, all right, Schwartz tag people. So I was like, all right, I'll tag some people.
No, I have no problem with that. It's just the fact that you like killed it. So now me, Liz, Nick, and I forget who the other person tagged us. We're just sitting here
twiddling.
Yeah,
that was so much fun.
Yeah, me and Dan, like that was a combination effort. Like we were shuffling through ideas, and I looked at him and I was like, I gotta do the "Who do you think you are? I am."
Yeah,
like it's easy, it's bowling, unbelievably funny viral video. Like, let's just try it, and it ended up coming out really well.
Yeah.
Okay, so Connors goes to Matt. Matt, do you have anything that you want to throw in?
Yeah, I got like a weird one.
Okay.
See a buddy to frozen fruit. Dude, everybody is buying frozen fruit. I was at the grocery store today. There wasn't a bag of frozen fruit left. Gone. Wiped out.
What are the grocery stores in Hamden looking like?
You can see. Honestly, I want to ask Sophia too. Like, you can see what products in the grocery store is the strongest and have the strongest marketing.
Oh yeah.
Because those are the ones that get wiped out.
Yeah. You can in Stop and Shop, you'll go by an aisle that's kind of full, and then the next aisle will be like half empty. It's honestly weird. You can totally tell what people are stocking up on.
Right. And like
water,
High Five,
bread, frozen stuff. And like the produce is just all still there. Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah. And like High Five to DiGiorno, they were like the only frozen pizza that I felt was wiped clean.
Really?
Yeah, like I still saw Elio's, I still saw Red Baron, like yeah.
Connor, to give you context, the Hamden ones looked better than the ones at my house for when I came down.
Interesting, because Hamden is a bigger town.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was town. Yeah.
So
Which is interesting, but you also then you have the ShopRite and the Aldi, and you have a couple other options around you. But I also haven't been in a week. Matt went today, so he'd have a better idea of it. Sophia, anything non just to coronavirus, but maybe something around it, anything else going on?
Probably see it to this business plan that I had to just put together.
Yeah, 38 pages.
Just because it was a lot of work, and I spent every day. I spent a couple days before going away on spring break, and then as soon as I got back, so well over a week working on it. So, and I'm going to submit it after this. So, but see you, buddy, to all the time I dedicated to that.
Also, another see you, buddy. Childish Gambino, what are you doing? The Weeknd comes out with an album. It was fire. Lil Uzi comes out with an album, an extended album. It was fire. And then you put out garbage. Actually, see you, buddy, to the rest of the music industry. If you're not the Weeknd or Lil Uzi, they have owned it. See you, buddy to all those celebrities that were like, oh my God, we're in an epidemic. Let's sing. Oh my God. That Imagine song. That Imagine song was trash. What Imagine? Oh. The first one that came out. Oh my God. Brutal.
You guys hit the good one, so I'll just give a quick one to Sleeping Giant Golf Course for shutting down today, because that was one of the few things that was keeping us sane right now.
Where'd you get the drone?
Pardon?
Wasn't there a drone shot of Matt?
What?
That was Dan Ball's steady hand.
But he was high.
Matt was down like kind of in a
I was in like a
ditch.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That was a funny video.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great.
That was like, yeah, because I mean, so Matt was he was a good like couple feet below me, and I was holding out my eyes. So I'm 5'10". So I mean, if you have that much, wow, thank you. I mean, if I'm shooting drone quality, a shot on an iPhone.
I more meant like because it was high. I guess you're just tall, man.
I'll go screw myself. That's fine.
I'm just a
All right. Yep, that's going to do it for the show today. Thank you so much for listening, watching, however you chose to be with us. This is a trying time right now. So the fact that we're able to get everybody together and actually do a show and kind of get a little hint of routine back It's been great, but we're going to do as much as we can to get back with you every single Monday right here on iTunes and Spotify if you're watching this on YouTube. Gentlemen, Sophia, any last words you want to throw in before we go?
Stay safe.
Peace.
Wait, hang on. Wait, hold on. Yeah.
Wait, are you in the box next to me, Connor? Are you in the box next to me or no?
You're like here for me.
Okay. We're going to touch hands.
Thank you so much for